Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I have what most, by American standards, most people would consider dream jobs. I'm teaching at a couple of community colleges. One of the colleges where I teach two courses is online, and in theory, I don't even well, I know why I signed the other contract that was in person. I signed it only as an insurance policy, and unfortunately, I got it, and, otherwise, I could be a digital nomad, right? But, I even though they are dream jobs, they leave something to be desired. It's probably easiest to explain this by example, what it leaves to be desired. My first day of onboarding with one of the colleges, I had to talk to one of the HR people. And while I was doing that, he was drinking a coffee in a noisy way that really bothered me. I don't know why. It bothered me. And somehow I finished through the actually I know how I finished the conversation. He had me fill out these papers, and I excused myself and said, it'd be nice to have a quiet place to fill out these papers. Do you have an office or a break room or something? And he sat me down in the break room where I could fill out these papers, and that was good. That was good. I left that meeting unscathed, but it was a close call. Um, and after I left that meeting, I got the paperwork done and all that. After I left that meeting, I reminded myself how difficult money is to come by, even when you're doing a dream job, right? I was in the process of moving, and I was negotiating my rent, and I haggled a little bit better than I would have because I remembered how difficult money is to come by. You got to listen to noises you don't like, you got to see people you don't like, you got to put up with politics that you don't like, right? It's election season, and I can't tell you how many times I go to the campus and I hear somebody voting for something that I disapprove of, right? You got to hear that out, right? Yesterday, not a work event, but I was at another event, and somebody was talking about they were against this rezoning idea, but I thought that was a great idea. I mean, they were talking about building some housing, and why not? This guy, he wasn't even a good salesman, by the way. He said that his home would lose $125,000 in value and all that. I said, well, don't you think these are great housing ideas? I mean, how many houses how many houses do we need to build? Right. Last I checked, there's a shortage of affordable housing. Yeah, but I'll lose $125,000. Does that sound fair to me? And so he wasn't even a very good salesman, by the way. I argued with him because this wasn't at a workplace. At a workplace, I'll be like, oh, I'll think about it, right? But yesterday, I decided to see just how these people operate because it was only at a party, right? And that was funny to see. And it just goes to show there's a lot more to work than work, right? At a community college, I'm an adjunct professor. There's a lot more to my work than just speaking about calculus, right? There is, right? A lot of people don't really stop to think about that. And unfortunately, it's become all too routine that my work strays out of work, right? Whether it be a difficult commute, whether it be schedules I don't like, and all that. And you're not really free to discuss about that here in the United States, right? We don't like to think about work culture and work-life balance. Had the coffee incident happened in Poland or in Taiwan, right? You would probably speak up about it. Hey, this is way too noisy for me to focus, right? And also, the other thing I don't like is even though it's a lot better at the community colleges that I teach at, oftentimes I feel like I'm asking every time I need to take a day off or something. Like last week, there was a social event I wanted to go to. It feels like I'm asking for permission to use my fucking time that God has given me, right? It doesn't seem to operate that way. In fact, I tell one of my Polish friends, and she almost thought it was illegal how it operated. Right? That's the difference in night and day, right? I was telling her about how when I was teaching at Washington Technology University, how one of my colleagues asked me to donate my vacation time to her, and she was completely thankless about it. And her first reaction was, "Are you sure that's legal? You better check if you should sue the school." And so, in Poland, it's probably illegal. Actually, I think, in Poland, she tells me that, sometimes if she, uh in Poland, if you don't take 4 weeks of vacation, even if you're self-employed, if you don't take 4 weeks of vacation time, the government can fine you 10% of your income. So she often goes to perform somewhere outside of the EU, right? So she could go to the UK or Ukraine, and so that she can count that as vacation, even though she's still performing, right? Because in her mind, singing and performing is her vacation. She's vacationing 52 weeks out of the year, but the government still counts that as work, right? That's the night and day difference over there than here in the United States, right? But it just goes to show it goes to show how big a slave I am, and it's making me hesitate about. It's making me very stingy and hesitating about spending all this money that I'm slaving my life away to, even though I'm at my dream job. There have been times where my jobs have been way worse than these two jobs, right? And I still feel like a slave, right? And that's why I want to. I'm hoping to submit some ideas to Lego Ideas, making it out there. Although when I interact with Lego, I'll probably still feel like a slave over there, right? All right, and it just goes to show I really should be replacing my car. I'm driving a Kia Forte, got 180,000 miles on it. It uses almost as much oil as gas, and but I was thinking about replacing the car in December this year because used car prices have a seasonality to it, and December is usually a good month to do it. But just last week, I had to replace the battery, and I don't want to be replacing the car with only a 2-month-old battery. It feels like a waste, right? Especially when I think about how much I had to slave away to get that battery, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.